Thank you.
And my wife Mira we are pleased to be here to present you this small, condensed version of a longer study that I have prepared and presented in many places. Eventually, this lecture and several others together will be published into a book and series of videos. We do have one segment of a video about symbology, what the symbols on these rugs do mean. We have that video available here, and eventually, hopefully, it will be a series of lectures in video series to tell us the whole story, the story of Armenian weaving tradition. Well, I have been studying the rug weaving culture in Armenian culture for the past about 25 to 30 years, because we do see carpets coming from Caucasus, and about 25 years ago, when I started my search, we could hardly find any terms in any literature that refers to those rugs as Armenian. We do hear Persian rugs, Turkish rugs, Afghani rugs, Kurdish rugs, so forth, so on. But there was no reference for Armenian rugs. Yet, I hear from my father, my grandmother, about the tradition of Armenian rugs. And I asked them, well, what are the samples? Can we see any samples of Armenian rugs? We were getting vague answers. So I dove actually into this study. And lo and behold, it turned out much, much more than I was expecting. Well, in order to find out an element, I had to go do a further research. In order to find the source of that, I had to go even further, until I reached to the Ice Age. 18,000 years. That's where our history starts, actually. When 18,000 years ago, when this globe at the last ice age started melting, the first area that the earth started warming, what we know today is Mesopotamia. Between the two rivers, that's what Mesopotamia means, between two rivers. What is today parts of Syria, Iraq, it goes all the way up. The very northern part would be the Armenian highlands, Persian highlands, and then comes down the other side all the way on the coast of the Mediterranean, all the way down to Egypt. So this part of the world